The quality of your life is affected by the quality of your decisions. And knowing this, you'd think that humans would focus on learning to make better decisions. Yet for some reason, many don't. A study at Cornell University estimates that you make 226.7 decisions each day about food alone. Given this information, it's safe to assume that you make thousands of decisions every day. Now, broadly speaking, you make two types of decisions. Those are conscious and subconscious decisions. You are aware of making conscious decisions. Deciding whether you should go to the gym or watch a movie is an example of a conscious decision. You're also aware that conscious decisions affect your life. So if you continually choose to watch a movie over going to the gym, you know that your health will be affected. The problem with subconscious decisions is you're unaware that you're making them. And when you're unaware of the decisions that you're making, you're also unaware of the effect that they're having on your life. So in this video, I want to explain what science knows about the subconscious mind and how you can use that information to make better subconscious decisions. Let's get started. The subconscious mind is still a debated topic amongst neuroscientists. That's because no one fully understands the subconscious mind and what it does. That said, science does have a good understanding of three subconscious mind functions. Function number one is filtering. The five senses send your brain an estimated 11 million bits of information every second. And of these 11 million bits, only 50 are processed by the conscious mind. That's a lot of filtering. What this means is your brain is really good at ignoring information, and most inputs remain subconscious. You see, inputs only become conscious when you give them your attention. Put another way, you notice what you pay attention to. This ability explains how you can have a conversation in a loud bar while ignoring the other conversations, the music, and the feeling of your feet on the floor. But here's where filtering can get you in trouble. Because your conscious bandwidth is small, where you focus your attention is critically important. You see, if you always give your attention to negative and unhelpful things, you miss the positive and helpful things. Function number two is reacting. Your brain contains two regions that help keep you alive. That's a thinking brain and a reacting brain. I covered this topic in detail in my video here, but I'll give you a quick recap. The thinking brain performs high-level thought, and it allows you to do things like speak, plan, and create. This processing power comes at the expense of being slow. So in short, the thinking brain is smart but slow. In contrast, the reacting brain makes lightning-fast decisions that keep you alive when faced with threats. So this is the part of your brain that allows you to jump without thought at the sight of a snake. Now this speed comes at the expense of lacking logic. So in short, the reacting brain is fast but dumb. Here's how the reacting brain can get you in trouble. In normal everyday situations, inputs from the environment are directed to your thinking brain for logical processing, and then to your reacting brain for emotional processing. But when you experience threats or strong emotions, your body shuts off the thinking brain and sends information directly to the reacting brain to save time. This is good when avoiding danger, but it's bad when doing things like responding to your boss. This is important because if you're making high-level decisions when your thinking brain is shut off, then you're affecting your ability to make good decisions. And function number three is conserving energy. The human body has evolved to be very energy efficient. And that's because when you use less energy, you need less food, and in turn, that increases your odds of survival. Now, because deep logical thinking uses a lot of energy, your body avoids this type of thinking when possible, and it does this in two ways. The first is through automation. Your brain has the ability to automate behaviors that once took focus and concentration. And this is helpful because automated behaviors use less energy. A process called neuroplasticity makes this possible. If you've ever learned how to drive a car, then you're familiar with this process. At first, driving takes immense focus and concentration, but in time, you can drive places almost effortlessly. What's important to keep in mind is that patterns of thought can also become automated. A pessimistic attitude, for example, is a result of automated negative thoughts. The second way your brain prevents deep thinking is by using shortcuts. When possible, your brain takes the path of least resistance by using shortcuts, and it does this to save energy. A cognitive bias known as the bandwagon effect is a great example of a shortcut. The bandwagon effect refers to your tendency to do something primarily because other people are doing it. And following the crowd is helpful because it eliminates your need to think about what you're doing, which saves energy. Now, if the crowd is doing something good, like avoiding danger, then your brain's tendency to take shortcuts is helpful. But if the crowd is doing something bad, like getting involved in a Ponzi scheme, then your brain's tendency to take shortcuts is harmful. Okay, now that you understand filtering, reacting, and conserving energy, here are 3 ideas that can help you make better subconscious decisions. Idea number 1 is don't filter what's important. Your home is likely full of hundreds, if not thousands, of possessions. But if you could only keep 10 of those items, then you'd only pick the most helpful and valuable things. As you've learned, your brain receives 11 million bits of information every second, but you can only pay attention to 50. Therefore, it's important to make sure that the 50 bits of information you're paying attention to are both helpful and valuable. So if you want to make better decisions, then pay attention to better things and stop filtering what's important. If you want to build a successful business, then pay attention to what makes a business successful. Learn about sales, accounting, and marketing. Or if you want to become a better spouse, then pay attention to what makes a marriage work. Learn about communication, expectations, and compromise. You see, when you pay attention to better things, the world looks like a different place. You also see opportunities that you once missed. A budding entrepreneur recognizes what used to be unseen business opportunities, and a spouse sees opportunities to compromise that before weren't obvious. At the same time, you can also stop paying attention to unhelpful things. So avoid negative people, news stories, and television shows. Idea number 2 is don't react when you should think. Your decisions suffer when your thinking brain is shut off and you make logical decisions with your reacting brain. Therefore, you can make better decisions by learning how to re-engage your thinking brain. Here's how you can do that. Your thinking brain shuts off when threats or strong emotions elevate specific chemicals in your brain. Now, the only way to re-engage your thinking brain is to allow those chemicals to return to normal. And that process can take anywhere from 6 seconds to 20 minutes. So if you feel your emotions starting to build, then take a deep breath and give yourself at least 6 seconds before making a choice. And if your emotions feel completely overwhelming, then give yourself at least 20 minutes before making an important decision. And idea number 3 is don't conserve energy when you should spend it. As you've learned, your brain tends to be lazy in an effort to conserve energy. For this reason, your brain often tries to use automated behaviors and shortcuts when it shouldn't. As a result, you end up using your fast but dumb reacting brain to make decisions that are better suited for your smart but slow thinking brain. Knowing this, here are 2 strategies that can help you fix this problem. Strategy number 1 is automate better behaviors. If you have bad habits, then you can dramatically improve the quality of your life by learning how to build better habits. So here's an example. Let's say you automatically think, I'm not smart enough, every time you're faced with a challenge. Well, this is unhelpful because it influences you to give up. In this case, you'd benefit from automating a new thought, like, if I work hard, I can solve problems. And that's because it influences you to apply yourself. Knowing this, here are 3 steps that you can take to build better habits. Step number 1 is to simply become aware of the bad habit. Then in step number 2, you use the awareness of that bad habit to act as a cue to begin the good habit. So using the example above, every time you notice that you're thinking, I'm not good enough, you can use that as a cue to think, if I work hard, I can solve problems. And step number 3 is to repeat steps 1 and 2. And with enough repetition, your new behavior will eventually become a habit. And strategy number 2 is use facts and logic. One way to prevent yourself from becoming a victim of shortcuts and cognitive biases is to force yourself to analyze the facts. And that's because doing so kickstarts your thinking brain. So before you follow the crowd, question if there's a better option. Before you jump to a conclusion, have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you. And before you buy something like a new car, make sure you know the market value of what you're buying. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, it would be great if you could subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Now, if you want more information like this, I highly recommend you check out my meditation app, Aware. I've linked to it below in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.